So, you finally leveled up your weapon and unlocked a weapon modification that you could put in your weapon. Wow, you might think, I can't wait to modify my weapon the way I want it. But after opening the weapon modification screen, you see them. Your worst fear, your biggest enemy, bars. They say nothing about the weapon, so you think, well, alright, it can't be that bad, right? I will just put a few weapon mods on my gun that sound good, and then you see them. Your worst fear, your biggest enemy, even more bars. Now, extremely confused, you try to pick a weapon mod, but slowly start making sense out of them. Damage distance is damage drop-off, reload speed is reload speed, spread is your accuracy, but what is the difference between Gunkick and Recoil? I'm glad you asked, because today I'll be trying to explain what is the difference between them. Every gun in the game has a preset recoil pattern that always repeats itself every time you spray a gun. This pattern differs from weapon to weapon, but same weapon will always have the same recoil pattern. When you start firing your gun, the game will start following the recoil pattern, the size of which is determined by a Gunkick value. But you might notice that guns in Payday 3 don't follow the recoil pattern the same way every time you spray. That happens because there is another value affecting recoil. You might not believe me when I say this, but it's called recoil. Recoil determines how much a weapon will deviate from the recoil pattern. Having low recoil value will mean your recoil pattern will be inconsistent, while having a high recoil value will mean your recoil pattern will always be the same. I have done tests on the VF7S, because I wouldn't be doing the tests on a gun that has no recoil. VF7S has very huge Gunkick and recoil values, so I bought multiple copies of the gun and modified them in a way, so they either have high recoil values or high Gunkick values, and compared them to unmodded and fully modded versions of the gun. Generally speaking, there was almost no difference between modding for recoil and modding for Gunkick, with modding for both decreasing the recoil pattern and consistently massively. When I was testing the patterns, I remembered the existence of a skill that I never ever used before. Recoil handling. As long as you have edge, your weapon recoil is reduced. But what does it mean by weapon recoil? Does it mean Gunkick or recoil, or maybe both? Let's put that to the test. Firing it without any weapon modifications, we can notice the decreased recoil pattern, but look how inconsistent the pattern is. It shows the recoil value is still low. That means the reduced value is probably Gunkick. Let's try reducing Gunkick with weapon mods. After reducing Gunkick, we can notice how the pattern remained approximately the same size, meaning the Gunkick value is so high, getting more Gunkick with weapon mods barely provides any difference in recoil pattern. But when you get more recoil value, you can see huge decrease in the size of the recoil pattern, meaning that if you run recoil handling, try to reduce recoil over Gunkick, and instead of getting Gunkick, try to focus other stats. So as a conclusion, try to focus recoil over Gunkick, as both recoil and Gunkick seem to reduce the size of the pattern, but recoil removes some of the RNG involved in controlling your weapon.